Hello FFL Agent Force agents and other FFL agents as well. Today we're going to be doing a quick 4 to 5 minute, basically a commercial of what our system can do for both you and your agency in both your own business, onboarding new agents, reducing declines, increasing your persistency placement, etc. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to run a basic quote here. Just going to pop in 10,000 for an age 60 male, and we'll say that they smoke. We're not going to put in any health or drug information right now. We're going to run the quote, and you get presented with all your different carriers. So you can see certain carriers we highlight with the Social Security billing star. Other ones, if they offer any sort of accidental death or 10-pay, will be held in the menu here. We do have a very basic HIPAA-compliant CRM where you can seamlessly store clients' health and drug information. Anything that you put in the quote gets pushed over. And if a carrier doesn't show, we'll actually tell you why, which is a pretty important component of underwriting. So we'll just put in a few different scenarios here, and you'll see that I'll take off the face amount and premium while I run this first quote. We're just going to put in cancer. It'll show me my two options here, current and past cancer. We're going to put in past, and we'll say this person had prostate cancer, so it'll be other. The date of last treatment, we'll say 2016. Date of diagnosis, we'll say they were diagnosed a year before that. Now, these are what we call fringe or follow-up questions because underwriting can't always be contained within certain phrases. It's often a little bit more expanded than that. So let's say they haven't had cancer more than once and they never had metastatic cancer. So based on the carriers I have selected, those are all the relevant questions for cancer that I need to answer. So when I underwrite or submit this case to the carrier, I'll know that I've asked every important question that I need to ask pertaining to that condition. In addition, we have a number of different suggestions built into the system. So we'll put gabapentin for pain, and we'll put in metformin for diabetes. So we'll say the first fill was back in 2018, so a few years. Any uncontrolled diabetes, we'll say no. And it'll suggest diabetic neuropathy. Now, there's other sorts of combinations that we have in the system. If I put in Coreg, and I'll put in furosemide, both for high blood pressure. And the way that you can tell for furosemide if it's for CHF is if they're taking 80 milligrams. So, but in this case, we'll say 40 or less. And it'll suggest CHF. So we have a number of these systems built in, and you can remove them if you disagree with the decision, but it helps to prevent you and your agents from making underwriting mistakes that can sometimes be seen by the carrier a different way than the client might be presenting. Additionally, we prevent underwriting mistakes in the way if you put in a medication like donepezil, we only show you the accepted reasons for that medication as the carrier will see it. So you're not going to have people who are taking omeprazole for AFib or donepezil for confusion. We'll make sure that you and the agent select the proper reason for that medication to underwrite properly. Our software is updated in real time every day as carriers make changes to their underwriting, to rates. Everything is handled for you. If you want to use the cheat sheet, and before I do that, I'm just going to run this quote real quick. And you can see here there's a few more components of our system. So if there's a commission cut, we'll let you know. If it's a graded or modified plan, we'll tell you the parameters of that plan there. And if there's a decision, we're going to tell you why. So it's always important to understand why underwriting is the way it is. You can see for prosperity here, this is a pretty complex plan, so it's always important to know what you're selling. And for certain situations, there are medications that can trigger a referral to an underwriter, so we'll let you know here. So before you run the case, you can be aware that some cases may go graded, they might be referred, and you can know that before you go. We even have a Lincoln Heritage in the software, which makes it a little bit easier for you to compare if you're sitting in the home. Here's your Lincoln policy, and this is what I can offer you. It makes it very easy for replacement scenarios. And if a carrier's decline, again, it's always important to know why. And we'll scroll back up here. We'll head over to the cheat sheet. And we have the cheat sheet built in. So if you have any kind of cheat sheet condition that you want to check, we have not only the every company listed no matter what, we'll tell you all those fancy fringe questions that we mentioned. So for example, for Moo, they care about any heart condition diagnosed within a year. For AFib, so we have that listed here. So it's always complete and up to date. And if we go back to the quoter here, we built it for the process of the sale. So let's say I ran this case and I want to write, we'll say Transamerica in this case. So I'm going to hit compare. It'll push all that information over to the compare page here. So this is at the point where I would plug in my three values. We'll say 10, 15, and 20. I would spin my iPad around and I would say, okay, Mr. Jones, these are your three options that you've been pre-qualified for. Which one of these works best for you? Let's say he says that's a pretty good rate. What does 150 bucks a month get me? Okay, we'll take this off. We'll plug in 150. We'll hit compare. You spin the iPad back around, and okay, for 150 bucks a month, we can do $24,195 of coverage. So this is your close down tool. And the reason that we teach our users not to put in the face amount of premium is that money does not buy life insurance, but your health does. So it's always important to qualify the client first. Pick the carrier you want to use. Just so you know, we run quotes at $10,000 if you don't put in any face amount of premium. And then at that point, you're going to proceed to go close them down. So you don't set any expectations. You're there to qualify. This is what you've been qualified for. This is the best thing that you can get. You can spin the system around and show, based on your health, this is what you qualify for, and this is what I recommend. And then you can proceed straight over to the e-app to close that person down. Other than that, again, like I mentioned, if let's say we close this case, we can push it over to the CRM. We'll say John Jones, put in my address and information there. We'll hit save. So it gets pushed right over to my CRM. And there is Mr. Jones. So we head over to clients. And you can see all the medical info is stored here. So if you're not following up with your book of business, somebody else is. So what we encourage is that everything is saved here. So if you're calling your client in 2 months, you're happy with your policy, everything's going well. Oh, but what can I get for if I want $5,000 more in coverage? How much will that cost? Just hit load quote file, and you're right back where you left off. You're still taking the gabapentin, you're still taking the metformin. Anything changed with your health? So this allows you to quickly and easily follow up with your clients. And the last page I want to show here is the term page. So we do have all of the relevant, or most of the relevant term carriers here. So if I was to run this case, we'll see the term carriers, and if there's any information that we want to tell you, like if the application will require a PHI, if the carrier calculates by nearest age, any kind of living benefits offered by carriers. And you can see here, for certain cases, our living benefits might be excluded. In America, you can see is the only carrier that will offer living benefits for ROP plans. So that is our term interface, which otherwise functions the same as final expense. It just has the different carrier interface down here. So if you have any questions or if you would like to sign up, you can contact your upline or you can send us a message straight on our website. You can send me an email directly at joe@fextoolkit.com. And if you do choose to sign up, please make sure to use the discount code AgentForce15, which is also in the description of this video. Or if your upline has a discount code, feel free to contact them as well. Thank you.